I could relate the best to and the people I could fight the hardest for. John felt like if he went on his own and started his own law firm, he could do even more good for people.
The firm, since it was formed in 1999, has helped over 2,000 victims of mesothelioma. We have achieved the single largest verdict in the country for a single victim of mesothelioma. We have helped our clients recover over $3 billion.
We just wanted to be known as, when we say we're coming, we're coming.
He cares about the families that are stricken with mesothelioma. He's a very down-to-earth individual that's very focused on getting results for people.
It's a very specific type of cancer that typically develops in the lining around the lung, and the only known cause of it in the United States is asbestos.
The firm's clients are made up of mostly your common, everyday, hard-working person.
The vast majority of people who suffer from mesothelioma have never filed a lawsuit before.
Historically, the disease always manifested itself in a lot of the trades. Boiler makers, shipyard workers, drywallers, mechanics.
They get struck down by this horrible disease in their golden years, in the prime of their life, when they ought to be enjoying themselves, and instead they're fighting, a terminal disease.
The youngest client I've ever represented was 28 years old. The oldest was probably 92.
We have a lot of victims now, unfortunately, that are the spouses of tradesmen. This is what we call a take-home case.
We don't want to just represent them. We really do want to make their lives as positive and peaceful as possible.
We have teamed up with many different medical institutions across the country to help them with their funding for clinical trials and research. What the firm's done, not only for their clients, but for the mesothelioma community as a whole, there is no doubt what sets the firm apart is not just the great legal work that they do, but the charitable work that they do.
The School of Medicine at Southern Illinois University was looking to build a cancer research institute, and the law firm made a pledge to the university to fund it over a several-year period, and it's called the Simmons Cancer Institute. Our attorneys are probably a different sort than a lot of law firms. We look for attorneys who have almost a blue-collar work ethic. I call it boots on the ground.
The lawyers that work on the case provide the individual attention that each client wants and deserves.
We have excellent lawyers. You have some of the best lawyers in the country, and they know the science, they know the medical, they know historical information, they know about the experts and their background. There isn't a stone that doesn't get turned over to find out all we can on how to present these cases in the best fashion to get recovery for the families.
We all have our clients' interests at heart. No one here, in my opinion, doesn't understand the fact that we're here to do one thing, and that's to help our clients.
Hi, I'm Andy Crouppen with the law firm of Brown and Crouppen. Did you know that asbestos is still legal in America? Manufacturers have known since the 1930s that asbestos was deadly and caused mesothelioma. Most people think that asbestos was outlawed in the U.S., but that's not true. Asbestos is still allowed and widely used in lots of products. Maybe that's why nearly 10,000 Americans die each year from asbestos-related diseases. That's nearly 30 people every day who lose their lives to asbestos. Thousands of American workers have been exposed to asbestos. Sometimes workers are never told about the exposure. They don't find out they were exposed to asbestos until they get sick. Other workers knew they were working with asbestos, but weren't aware that their inadequate safety equipment failed until decades later when they were diagnosed with an asbestos-related illness. Exposure to asbestos is the only known cause of mesothelioma, a deadly lung disease. In fact, asbestos is so toxic, it even puts the families of exposed workers at risk. Asbestos can come home on the clothing of workers and cause secondhand exposure to their loved ones, which can ultimately lead to all of the same illnesses. And it isn't just the workplace. Asbestos has been found in thousands of consumer products as well. One recent study found asbestos fibers in duct tape, spackle, sealant, even toys. Manufacturers have known for 80 years that asbestos is deadly. Instead of trying to fix the problem, they spent decades suppressing reports that expose the dangers. They've fought every attempt to ban or limit asbestos use. Even today, they're trying to look for ways to duck responsibilities for asbestos injuries. You shouldn't have to pay for corporate negligence. Our legal team helps asbestos victims and their families get the compensation they deserve. We may be able to help you even if your employer or the manufacturer has gone out of business. If you've been hurt by asbestos, call us. The call is free, and as always, if you don't get paid, we don't get paid. Let our experienced team of asbestos attorneys go to work on your case. Call us at the number below for a free asbestos consultation. Hi, I'm Andy Crouppen with the law firm of Brown and Crouppen. Have you been exposed to asbestos? If you're like millions of Americans, you probably think asbestos has been banned. It hasn't. Asbestos is still used in many commercial and consumer products. When asbestos dust is inhaled or swallowed, it can cause damage to the lung, heart, or other internal organs. It can cause mesothelioma, asbestosis, and other serious health problems. Workers in some industries are at the highest risk. Construction workers, miners, auto mechanics, roofers, factory workers, electricians, shipyard and railroad workers. These are just some of the jobs that routinely expose American workers to asbestos. It isn't just workers, though. Asbestos fibers are so toxic that workers' families may also be at risk. Asbestos particles that cling to a worker's clothing, shoes, skin, and hair can also be inhaled by family members. This minimal secondary exposure can lead to all of the same asbestos-related injuries. It can take decades for symptoms to appear. Early symptoms can include shortness of breath, a feeling of heaviness in the chest, unexplained weight loss, and nausea. If you have any of these symptoms and believe you may have been exposed to asbestos, please tell your doctor. Don't ignore early symptoms. If you've been hurt by asbestos, here are some things you should know. Mesothelioma, asbestosis, and other asbestos-related illnesses are not accidents. They're completely preventable diseases. The federal government started warning manufacturers in the 1930s about the dangers of asbestos. Manufacturers didn't try to fix it. They tried to hide it. They've challenged even minimal regulation over the use of asbestos, and their lawyers are always looking for imaginative ways to duck responsibility. Don't fight them all by yourself. They have lawyers, you should too. We've learned to work harder and smarter on our asbestos injury files to get injured workers and their families the compensation they deserve. We may be able to help you even if your employer or the manufacturer has gone out of business. At Brown & Crouppen, our experienced team of asbestos lawyers provides tough, aggressive representation for victims and their families. If you have questions, call us at the number below. We're here to help. The call is free, and as always, if you don't get paid, we don't get paid.